This is the latest Specialized Allez Sport road bike for the 2024 season. And in this episode, I will give you the buyer's guide for this bike. And also, I will tell you, should you just go ahead and buy this bike or should you just consider this bike? Well, hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Cycling Inside. So you see, recently I got a question about this bike from one of the viewers, and basically the person said that they have an opportunity to buy this Specialized Allez Sport bike for the price of 1,600 US dollars, which really got me interested to see what is it from Specialized that they can offer for, let's say, 1,600 US dollars. Although you see the proper retail price for this bike is 1,800 US dollars. So let's talk about this bike and really see what do you get for your hard-earned money. So as I was saying, the retail price is 1,800 US dollars. And first we gotta answer the question, who is this bike for? The way I see it, there are two main reasons why you would buy this bike. Number one reason is that you are just starting your cycling journey and you are looking for the first road bike. Then definitely this Specialized Allez Sport is a very attractive offering. Although you might also be, the second reason might be that you are already deep into road cycling, you have your fancy carbon fiber expensive road bike, and now you are looking for a second road bike which you will, for example, use in the winter months or when it's kind of rainy outside, or you just want to use this bike basically, let's say, for going to work. Then these two main reasons would be to consider if you want this Specialized Allez Sport road bike. Now, when we look at the paint scheme on this bike, I am really glad to report that Specialized is offering three paint schemes. The first one is this beautiful gloss Dove paint scheme, kind of almost white gray paint scheme, very nice, beautiful classic paint scheme. Then you have this tropical teal, as they call it, the paint scheme, kind of Arctic blue paint scheme, and probably my favorite one, which is this gloss tarmac black with a hint of, I would call it, bronze or gold. So I'm very impressed that Specialized is offering three paint schemes on this Allez Sport bike. Now, let's dive into the specifications and really see what do you get for your hard-earned money. First thing first, we gotta start with the frame and the fork on this bike. So the frame on this bike is the Specialized E5 Premium Aluminum or Aluminium frame with the flat mount disc brakes, 12mm through axles both the front and the back, and also this frame has the rack and fender mounts, so definitely you can mount your fenders on this bike and really use it when outside, maybe it's the winter time or it's a bit rainy. This Specialized E5 aluminum frame is a top-notch frame. Specialized really has a lot of experience in making these aluminum frames with their smooth weld technology, and definitely on this frame they are also using the classical threaded bottom bracket, which is superb, easy to service. Your local mechanics will love you. And also one thing to mention here, when you look at this frame set, you will see that the cables are partially internally routed. So the hydraulic disc cables and the shifter cables at the front of the bike are totally, outside and free, and then they are flowing into the down tube where they are going internally. In my opinion, I applaud Specialized for this solution. It's going to be super easy to service this or replace any parts because these cables are not, internally routed through the headset and the front of the bike. So it's a very nice and classical way of kind of partially internally routed cables. Also, when it comes to the fork on this bike, this is a Specialized carbon fiber fork, which is again excellent addition to this aluminum frame. And again, the fork has the 12mm through axle and the fender mounts and the flat mount disc brakes. So all in, the whole frame set on this bike, I absolutely have no complaints here. It's a very good job from Specialized. Now let's look some of the smaller components on the bike. For example, a stem and the handlebar. So the handlebar is the Specialized Aluminium handlebar, and the stem is also Aluminium stem. Nothing is proprietary here. They are separate pieces, so it's very easy to adjust your position on the bike, and also in the future, if you want to replace anything, it's very easy to replace. So definitely this is a good thing that Specialized didn't go with any proprietary design here. When you look at the saddle is the body geometry saddle from Specialized. In my opinion, body geometry saddles are very good, but since saddles are always a personal preference, you might want to decide that you're going to use some other saddle that you prefer. So it's very easy to replace. Seat post here, they are using an aluminum seat post, 27.2 millimeters in diameter. And this is one part where I believe Specialized should have just, thrown in a nice carbon fiber seat post, just because it would soak up a bit more of the road bumps. But this, for example, is a nice area in the future where you can upgrade for not a lot of money. You can buy a good carbon fiber seat post here. Okay, now let's look at the drivetrain on this bike. So the shifters, front mech and the rear mech, everything is Shimano Tiagra mechanical group set. So this Shimano Tiagra mechanical group set is a 10-speed group set from Shimano. Absolutely superb, in my opinion, mechanical group set. It sits just below the Shimano 105 level. So in the Shimano, road group sets, you have Shimano 105, Shimano Ultegra, Shimano Dura Ace. These are the group sets that Shimano considers like race group sets. And then you have the Shimano Tiagra, which is sitting below the Shimano 105 group set. So absolutely superb 10-speed mechanical group set. And here they have also paired it with the crankset from Praxis. So Praxis Alba crankset, 50-34 chainrings. And the cassette is from Sunrace, 10-speed cassette, 11-32 cassette. So you have a good gear ratio, 50-34 chainrings, 11-32 cassette. And I will just mention here that in the future, when you need to replace this cassette, I would advise you to buy some kind of Shimano cassette, 10-speed cassette. Is it a Shimano, Tiagra level, Shimano 105 level? And also, as I see here, the chain they are using is the KMC X10 chain. Perfectly fine. I have no complaints with KMC chains. And in the future, when you are replacing the chain, just make sure it's a 10-speed compatible. So is it going to be, Shimano chain or again a KMC chain? Totally fine. And as I was mentioning, the bottom bracket here is the 68 millimeters threaded bottom bracket, super easy to service. So all in, looking at this group set on the Shimano Tiagra level, 10-speed mechanical group set, absolutely fine, and definitely no special complaints from me in this department. Now let's look at the wheels and the tires. So definitely these wheels and the tires are the weakest point of this bike, in my opinion. So the both wheels, front and the back, are some kind of very simple aluminum wheel set from Specialized. They're Axis Sport disc wheel set, and they are wrapped in the Specialized Road Sport tire. This is a 30 millimeter tire, and this frame can take up to 35 millimeter tires. So if you want your bike ride to be a bit more comfortable, then definitely next time when you are replacing the tires, buy yourself a 32 millimeter tires, so much bigger air volume, much smoother bike ride. And also this wheel set, as it is tubeless ready. You will of course need to just get yourself a tubeless tape, tubeless valve, and the sealant, and turn the tires, the whole wheel set into a tubeless wheel set if you want. But I will also mention here that probably this wheel set, as it is more than 2 kilograms in weight. So this is a nice opportunity again in the future. If you want to buy some top-notch aluminum wheel set, for example, I would always advise you to have a look at DT Swiss wheels in this department. So as I was saying, wheels and tires, I believe this is the weakest point on this bike, and I would also expect these tires, these Specialized Road Sport, to be, a low count TPI and also a bit on the stiffer side of the tires, not so supple tires. Specialized isn't saying the total bike weight here, but I would assume that for the whole bike, probably in some kind of size 56, we are speaking about 9.5 kilograms. If you add pedals on top of it, let's call it 9.8 kilograms. ready to ride. So all these Aluminium road bikes, from example, from Trek, from Canyon, Specialized, of course, here, they would all be hovering around 9.5 kilograms, 9.5 to 10 kilograms, and this is kind of a classical bike weight, I would say, for these levels of the bike. One thing more I forgot to mention is the hydraulic disc brakes, front and the back, Shimano Tiagra hydraulic disc brakes, 160mm braking rotors front and the back, definitely superb, no cutting corners here, and as I see, some kind of basic Shimano's RT64 braking rotors. Again, in the future, you can always play with a bit more advanced braking rotors from, for example, Shimano Ultegra level, Shimano 105 level, or if you even want, you can use some of the mountain bike braking rotors from the Shimano's family. So, in a summary, what is my advice to you considering this Specialized Allez Sport with a retail price of 1,800 US dollars? So, as I was saying, if you are just new to road cycling, then definitely you should shortlist this bike. And also, if you are looking for your second bike, which will be used in the winter time or going to work, then definitely you should shortlist this Specialized Allez Sport bike. I believe that if you discuss the price nicely and negotiate the price nicely with your local bike shop, they can definitely give you this bike for about 1,600 US dollars. And then definitely I would just say go ahead and buy this bike, because it's going to be an excellent Aluminium kind of starter bike and available for different small upgrades in the future. So this is going to be it for today. I hope you like what I'm doing, and if you do, keep on watching, keep on liking, and as always, I will see you soon in the next episode. Cheers!